Hi everyone, my name is Gloria Lembo and I'm the Partner Relations Associate Manager at Arifu. And a brief about Arifu is that Arifu is a social enterprise that was incorporated in Kenya in 2015. And our main purpose is to ensure that information is within the reach of everyone, especially those ones who are at the bottom of the pyramid and those ones who are unbanked. What we have to date is 1.5 million learners who've actually accessed the Arifu platform, and we are available on all social media chat applications such as Facebook, WhatsApp, and SMS as well as Telegram. So there's certain challenges that we did realize that the youth, MSMEs, and women have to date, and we realized that they do have the lack of accessible and credible information because they're in areas which are hard to reach. They actually have a problem accessing credible information that they can use to better their situations. There's also lack of financial literacy, and some of them who are actually going to look for this information find it to be very expensive because they have to pay some fees or they have to wait for in-person training to be able to access financial literacy. Something else you also learned is that there's lack of access to timely and financial products and services. So especially those ones who are in rural areas, they do not have timely access to financial products and services that they can actually use to make themselves better. They're not able to access savings products. They're not able to access loan savings. And that is why Arifu came in to be able to bridge this gap. And lastly, we also realized that there was a gender barrier in accessing financial products and services. So women also have been kept aside in terms of them accessing these very viable solutions because of them being women. Especially in Africa, there's an issue where women are usually viewed as the lesser gender, and because of that, they're not able to access these products and services. For our partners, on the other hand, why we've been partnering with our partners is because we are a B2B solution. So we come in and help our partners to know their customers. So they're able to access or give information to as many people as possible because you're a digital company. So it just depends on these target people that they're trying to reach. And based on that, you're able to curate information and reach them as soon as possible. So we do this in a timely manner, and we're also able to give them field level analytics. What I mean by this is that our partners are able to see the progress of the information or the progress of the projects as and when they happen. So they receive this information in real time data so that they're able to see how many people are actually going through the training, how many people are completing the trainings, how many people are actually requesting for these products and services. And that is where we also bridge the gap. Something else is, of course, there's a high cost of upselling, and we also try and help them to reduce costs because being digital, we are cheaper than the in-person training, and from that, you're able to reach, of course, as many people as possible. So the value proposition we have for this target audience is that to ensure that this information is personalized. What I mean by this is that this information has to go through research. We have to do in-depth research with this target audience just to understand what their biases and their challenges are. And based on that, you then come back to the office and you're able to ensure that this information resonates with them. We have to do mock testing also just to ensure that the information is easy for them to understand, easy for them to read, and based on that, you then now finalize the content with our partners. It's also easy to use because anyone who has a feature phone or a smartphone is able to access this information. So especially for those ones who do have a feature phone, the information of course is absolutely free because they don't need any internet or airtime to access our services. Those ones who have smartphones of course are going to have a charge for data costs, which is minimal compared to having to pay for the training itself. For our learners on the for our partners on the other hand, something else also just trying to do with them is to ensure that we provide digital, financial, and business literacy for these target audiences. So of course, we do all the work in house, and we also work in our partners hand in hand to ensure that this information reaches those who are at the bottom of the pyramid and in rural areas, so that they're able to understand what they need to do and how they need to access these financial products and services. And also we give them access to financial products and services. So we have partnered with financial institutions in the past and to date. And what we've been doing with them is that once our learners go through this financial literacy, we also give them access to the financial products. So we do connect them to these financial institutions so that they're able to save, they're able to take loans, they're able to open accounts with these financial institutions. So for our partners, of course, we help them reach the unbanked. Because you're digital, we try and reach as many people as possible, and you can do this in a timely and short manner. We try and educate and change behavior, because we did notice that there's a correlation between financial literacy and behavior change. So what we give our partners is that to ensure that we educate this target audience so that they're able to take up what they've learned from the trainings and incorporate them in how they take loans, how they repay these loans, how they take savings. We also capture data, so we're able to do this in real time analytics, because the partner does receive a partner dashboard that receives all this information in real time. We're also able to give our financial institutions quality leads. And what we mean by this is that we try and sieve through, so the people who've actually gone through financial literacy, and based on their performance, they're able to now, the banks are able to take up these conversations and continue on to give them the products and services that they require. So what our learner journey looks like is that we do have a campaign strategy with our partners, or a campaign, a marketing strategy as I'd call it. And what happens is that we either send out invitation messages to these learners, or we do radio adverts or TV adverts. And based on that, the learners are able to come in with a keyword, which then allows them to come into the Arifu platform and to begin training on this platform. So they'll start the courses that are available. This could be financial literacy, it could be loans, it could be how to take savings, how to repay loans, the importance of not being in debt, and also implications of things like being in the credit reference bureau. Based on that, we're able to incorporate quizzes in as well. So they're able to take quizzes so that they're able to gauge the level of understanding. And we always agree with partners as to how we are going to be able to put in the limitations, so that once a learner reaches 70%, they're able to get a certificate. Based on that, they receive a certificate. We're able to incorporate surveys in case our partners want to get more information about these learners. And based on that, they're able now to be connected to the financial institutions to be able to take up the products and services. And from there, again, the whole process begins again based on different topics. So of course, the content library we have currently is on financial education. We do have good agronomic practices. We do have business education. We have refugee financial education. And currently, we've just incorporated COVID-19 training for some of our partners, so that businesses that we've been working with are able to ensure that they have financial literacy as well as financial resiliency in terms of this very difficult period. So what the partner journey looks like is we have a partnership with the institutions, and then based on that we create the content based on the demand of that particular content. We do have content delivery, where now we put this content onto the platform and actually publish it for them to be able to access. And then based on that, there's now analytics that happens. So the products and services you have currently, of course, on content, we do have content creation, but you're also able to license out the current content you have with our partners. We do have the platform fees and the messaging fees on the platform itself. And we do have the analytics, of which for the real-time data analytics, this is free for our partners. So I'll give you a case study here of Gladys Kibet, who is one of our power learners. And for Gladys Kibet, she did take financial education with one of our projects. And she's a woman who's married. She has 3 children. She does have a small shop. And she was also trying to see how she can become financially stable, so that she secures the future of her children. She went through the financial training for Arifu, and she also went through the good agronomic practices. And based on that, she was able to understand what savings are about, what borrowings are about, how she can actually open an account. And she did go ahead to open an account, and she began saving. Based on that, she was able to now grow her business slowly, and she's been growing it ever since. And on this particular project, for the rest of the trainees that you had about 3,000 trainees. We realized that there's a 500% increase in savings deposits, because now they understood the importance of savings. And there was a 700% increase in loan disbursements. And what we mean by this is that the banks actually saw that these people who were dormant before actually began saving more, and they were able to take loans and repay these loans. And also they began to pay 9 days sooner than they did before, just showing that there is a correlation between financial literacy and uptake of financial products and services. This is another case of a learner that we did train on financial literacy and good agronomic practices, and his name is Godfrey. He resides in Meru in Kenya, and he's quite young. He's about 27 years old, and he also tried to find solutions where he was able to start his own business to make his life better. And here you can see he was telling us that before he was quite broke, but right now he's realized that he's able to start a business, and he's also been able to begin saving a house. We currently work in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Zambia, and Nigeria, and of course we're looking to expand. This is the current team that we have, and the ones who lead most of our departments in Arifu. We've worked in various sectors, and we've worked with various financial institutions to be able to bridge the gap of financial inclusion. And we're also looking to expand to the rest of Africa. So again, as I'd like to bring this about is that we do have partnership, we do have content creation, we have content delivery, and we have data analytics. And this is how Arifu does contribute to financial inclusion in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for your presentation, and thank you for keeping well within our time limit.
Thank you.
So now I'd like to invite any questions. So our audience may post questions in the chat or in the Q&A. And also, while the audience are perhaps thinking of some questions, I'd like to invite our panel of judges. So Clarissa, Jay, and Professor Douglas, if there are any questions you would like to ask Gloria, please.
Hello, Gloria. Thank you very much for a good presentation, really interesting. I wonder, have you worked with regulators or the public sector in trying to develop financial literacy programs?
Currently, we haven't worked with any regulators per se, but we have been working with Association of Microfinance Institutions to try and ensure that you have proper financial literacy education that you can actually share out with our partners as well as learners in the field.
Very good. This is a big area that I think lots of people are looking at trying to address. And I wonder, do you have any way that you can that you test before and after in terms of baselining to see where they were in terms of literacy before and then where they are after?
Yes, we do have a research team in the office. So before we take on projects, we do have baseline research that is carried out just to see what the situation looks like before. And then we do have continuous monitoring and evaluation that happens throughout the project period, and an end-line report which is done just to see what the progress has been and where they were before and where they were now after they've gone through their Arifu training.
Very good, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. This is Clarissa. Gloria, that was a great presentation. In terms of the women, I saw that the first case you demonstrated was of a woman, but generally, in terms of the proportion of those who've gone through your system, what's the share of women? And what's the feedback you get from women?
Okay, currently the share of women is about 30% of the entire population that we have, which is 1.5 million learners. We are trying to expand that with our partners, of course. So what we've been doing as Arifu, we've been trying to take on more projects that are geared towards women and youth entrepreneurs, because that's an easier way for us to get them. And for the women that we've been working with, they're actually happy about the training because for them, it's about privacy. So they don't really have to go to class. They don't have to do much. They just need to learn from the comfort of their homes. So they're very happy about how they've been training so far. And we're looking to include more women into the programs that we carry out as Arifu.
Thank you. Were there any hiccups trying to engage these women to get them to come out and not come out physically, but get their interest in the product?
Yes, for some of them it has been difficult, but I think it also just depends with the locations they're based in. So for the women who have feature phones, for the women who have begun businesses, it was quite easy to onboard them because they were very keen to learn and they were very keen to understand how they could actually acquire or access financial products and services. For some of them, of course, for the ones who are maybe willing to try or willing to begin businesses, it was a bit difficult to get them engaged because some of them would drop off midway because they weren't sure they'd want to start a business. And also there are actually cultural issues in terms of their husbands maybe allowing them to actually take on the trainings or begin businesses on their own. So there have been quite a few issues, but again, this is very relative to the locations that we have been training.
And do you think that accounts for the low rate in terms of the 30% you mentioned? And have there been instances where when you went, the woman didn't have a phone of any type? And if she didn't have, what did you do?
So we do believe that the reason why the rates are so low, of course, is because of cultural differences. So that's what I'd say. And in terms of the women who've been training, because we're digital, so what we've been doing is that even for the women we've been reaching out to have already had feature phones or smartphones, because for us, we try and do campaigns. So there are radio campaigns, we do TV campaigns, and we do invitations. So we haven't had an instance where we've gone to the field because we are a digital trainer. So we try and complement in-person trading in that sense. So all the women we have onboarded have actually had phones, either a feature phone or a smartphone.
Thank you very much, Gloria.
Thank you, Clarissa.
Hi, Gloria. This is Jay from the Philippines. Yes, I would like to commend Arifu and the rest of the officers, you and the rest of the officers for Arifu for, coming up with such an innovative financial literacy solution. Well, I'm just wondering if you had any recent partnership with an institution targeting particularly how to help the vulnerable sector cope with the COVID-19 challenges.
Yes, we have done a few partnerships. So they're quite recent in the sense that we've just gotten into the projects about a month or two ago. And the main purpose has been to combine financial literacy and COVID-19 information training, just to ensure that MSMEs that you're training actually have the skills to be resilient during this period, and also provide them with access to resiliency or recovery products from the financial institutions that we are working with. So yes, we do have that ongoing, and we are also trying to onboard more partners to carry out this work.
How is it going so far? What's the impact that you have measured? I believe you're doing some analytics and maybe you have initial data at this point.
So the projects that just went live, so we wouldn't have analytics until maybe 3-4 months in, because the learners have just started interacting with the content.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck to you in that endeavor.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
Thanks to our judges. Gloria, we have about 5 minutes left in the session. So I'd just like to ask you, if I may, a couple of questions that have come in from our live audience. So the first question is from Mr. Fall, and he's asking for more information on the economic model of your solution. So perhaps you could say a little bit more about your business model and how revenue is generated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Robin. So our business model is a B2B. So we do work with our partners to ensure that these projects are run smoothly. And based on that, we do have certain services, for example, content creation, where we create content with our partners, or we do licensing of content. So that's two revenue streams that we have. We do have the platform access, because of course we need to have access for the partners as well as the learners. So we do have that as a revenue stream. We do have data analytics as a revenue stream. Of course, we give this information for free to the partners. But what we do in this instance is that once they want reports, based on the various reports that are requested, we are able to also charge for that. So those are the main revenue streams, and that's how Arifu does make money. But for the learner, of course, we ensure that the information is free for them. So the people we onboard, these MSMEs and youth and refugees, they come in and learn for free, absolutely free.
Very interesting. Thank you for that answer. And the final question that I see here is again in relation to some of the gender barriers that you've highlighted. How do you envisage managing the cultural issues or barriers to onboard more women to your services?
Okay, so how we've been planning to do that is that we've been assuring women of privacy. So we do have privacy policies in place, and ensuring that we just tell them that the information is safe with us, that they're able to learn for free. We don't share this information with anyone, because then they feel like they are learning from a safe environment. So that's one of the ways we're doing it. We're also advocating for women to onboard onto our platform or onto our programs by working with partners who actually work with women as well. So for that, we're able to have, let's say, key warriors or key women that we work with who are able to now speak to other women. So I'd say, for example, women groups. And based on that, because they see a woman is able to talk to them and they understand each other, then they have the same language, they speak the same language, and they're able to onboard them or bring them on so that you can be able to train them as well. So that's how we've been dealing with it. But you're also still exploring other ways that you can onboard as many women as possible.
Excellent to hear. Thank you so much.